So, what I want to do today is tackle a problem that I've got a few calls about, some emails, and the fact that you cannot get a new fuse block. Nobody reproduces these, and the only way to do it is do like a whole new thing and buy a whole new setup. My car is an all original numbers matching 66 Chevelle L78. And I've had it since 1975 in high school. But in the restoration process, I found out that this was busted off, one of the tabs that mounts this fuse block to the firewall, which happens a lot. And this one was even melted a little bit, so I think it was trying to be repaired at one time, and that was broken off again. I took an old one here. I started playing with it and melted it and found out you can't melt these back together. It's kind of that Bakelite plastic or something, molded plastic, and it won't melt to a point where you can melt it back together, so don't even attempt that because it looks like that was done and it just kind of popped right off. So I don't even know where the piece is now. It's here somewhere. Here's the piece. So you can see that piece was melted on the side. Tried to attach it, held for a little while, but then when I, took it apart, it was busted. So I'm going to replace this. The problem is these pins. Everybody has their ideas about these, and what you want to do is take up needle nose pliers and try to pry them. They seem like they're loose because they wiggle, but they're really a bear to get out. So I took this one. This was a melted one I had. I have several extra sets that I've collected over years. This one was all melted here, so it must have had a short in the wiring at one time. So I took this one apart so I can kind of see what's in there. And these are what you find when you go inside. I can show you this. This is what they call a Packard twin lock connector. And if you notice on this side right here, there's a pin there to push it up so it won't go out any farther. And then there's two locking pins on the sides down here. See those? So it won't slide back out. So once it pushes in, it won't go any further up and it won't slide back out. So the trick is, how do I compress these so I can pull them back out? Because I want to save these to redo my wiring. Okay. So let's see what we got here. So I went online and there were several tools you could buy, and all these guys were working on stuff, and myself also being a hairdresser decided, well, I could make a tool. So what I did is I made one out of a bobby pin. So I'm going to show you how I did that first. So I took a regular bobby pin. Okay, so I took a regular bobby pin, I bent it. Then I took and I peeled off, there's a little rubber pin thing on each side to hold it in when you do the hair. So I cleaned those off real good. Then I wanted to I have to smash these ends. They're still a little bit too thick, so I want to smash these a little bit more. So let me show you how I did that. So now when I go to smash these, I want to flare them out a little bit just on the ends. And so I'm going to hammer these a little bit. Otherwise they don't slide in far enough. They actually get hung up on the same tab that the pins on the connector gets hung up on. So I'm really kind of flatten these out. Really get that end pretty nice edge, so you can see how much kind of flatten it out there. How much you can tell from the video here. But you get the idea. Just flatten them out a little bit so they're almost sharp on the ends. Now I want to take these and bend them to where they're about the same width. So when I open it up, I bent this a little bit because when you first open them up, they're different. One's a little longer than the other one. So you got to kind of open it up and then bend them back. Just to kind of get them close to each other. In the same depth. I want to get them about the same depth is what I'm trying to do right now. I don't care about how close they are because when I put them in, they'll reshape themselves anyway. Okay. So there I've made my tool. Here's the other one I made earlier that I was using that seemed to work real well. It's bent, it's kind of already bent to the right size. And so you can kind of see how that works. So, alright. So here you can see one that I took off a cluster that has both the tabs on it. It's pretty solid. It's got, make sure it has all of these tabs because these are going to your firewall side of the car, and your firewall connectors, your engine harness and your headlight lamp harness, that all connect onto there. So I've already taken one side out, kind of check out my tool to see kind of how it works, and you can see those. And the idea is to take it out without damaging the crap out of this, because it's real easy to get this all messed up. I've heard guys say take jeweler's files or screwdrivers like these and work those in. I tried that on my test one here, and it kind of elongated the holes and kind of messed them up. So putting them in and prying isn't the best if you want to save that. I want to keep that so that when I put the pins in, they're as tight as possible in this part right here. So this, you know, I found that didn't work for me. It was too fat. So I cut the harness off. Cut the harness off, so I got access to these wires from the back. So you pretty much destroyed that old harness, which you don't care. And now I want to get, and you see they do wobble in here. They kind of move, but see how they won't push forward more and they won't go down. So when they put the plug on there, it stays and you get a good connection. So these ones I don't care about damaging. This one I take the other ones out to put this one on. I want to make sure those are okay. So here's kind of what I did. I took this and take these pins and put it on each side. So what I'm doing is, when you look at these pins here, I'm going to slide it down the sides like this and try to get it to kind of close those off a little bit so that I can pull this out. I want to pull it up, or back down through. It won't go back up because of this one on the back, and that one's a little stiffer, so I found it's harder to push that one. So these ones are a little longer, a little more flexible. So push that in and then pull it out that way. Okay, so I'm going to kind of set it in here. Let's work this pin in here. Let's try this one here. And I suggest if you have a busted one, you know, practice on a bad one first. So like I say, the idea is I don't want to damage this up too much. So I kind of put in there, I give it a little wrap. Okay, get that in there tight so I know it's seating. Now that's the brown ones here. Get these other ones out of the way. Oh, that one popped off. Work that in there nice and tight. Make sure you're on each side of the pin there, not down in the middle on the sides, because remember we want to depress those little tabs as much as possible, and then pull this out. Another thing I tried a little bit is try pushing down, but that didn't seem to work as well. Everything just bent. So I found as long as you've got a wire on the end, make sure you leave enough wire to hook onto when you pull this off. You could maybe even leave it a little longer. You can pull it by hand maybe. I thought of that after the fact. So now I'll pull and there it comes out. Okay, they're not always that easy, but you see how I depress those little tabs on there so that it slid out. Let's try another one. But see, the trick is that I didn't damage this hole at all. I wanted this all to stay nice, and I want those tabs, the things that catch the tabs, to stay in good shape too, so that it doesn't, so that I can reuse this. It always helps, like I say, just to get a little tap, not a lot, just a little tap. I don't want to wreck anything in there. This is the black one. Let's see if I get as lucky this time. There it's coming. See, I find if I get a little leverage like that, it's a little easier to pull. Come on. Oh, that one broke off. See, that's what happens the other times. So then you got to take another pliers or cutter, try to pull that out. But anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this and finish pulling these out. So here we go, try another one. Here's this purple one, it's the third one on that side. So again, put this on each side, work it in. See, I always give a little tap, make sure this is down. Make sure it's in there tight. Work that up. Look at that, that one came out nice and easy. Sometimes I think the big purple ones come out. You see those tabs that we had to work? Or the bigger wires come out easier. Here's a double wire, we'll try that one. The other thing I did is I took up needle nose pliers and see I ground the end so that it's much more pointed. Just an old needle nose. So I could get in there a little better too to kind of get at some of these. Because as you can see, some of them are stubborn. So if I can kind of squash them, there I can pull that one out. We'll try one without doing the pin, see what happens. I think I got one that's busted off. Here's one. So I'll get this out of the way. Compress each side. Give a little twist. Pull her right out. There we go. So that looks like we got pretty good. Didn't not beat up too bad. A couple scratches there. I guess if you're worried about that, you can put some tape on them, but that's going to be inside between the other side of the fuse block. I didn't bust anything doing it. Looks like all the tabs are still in there in place that I can see. And when I look through the holes, I can see other tabs on the other side. So that one's ready to put on my broken one. Now we just got to get that other one apart. Alright, so now here I have my original harness, remember, with the tab broken off. So the idea is to replace it with this one. So I think they're all pretty much the same. Wait, this one goes this way. Got that thing on each side. And got the tabs. Just need that place. So I got to take these out. So at this point, I'm more concerned about saving these pins and keeping those as perfect as possible, and I don't care about this thing. So, first thing I did is I took a bunch of pictures of the back, spread the wires and took pictures so I knew where each one went. And then I'm going to also mark, I'm going to tape them off so I know which ones go on which sides, just to save myself some confusion later. So I'm just going to take all the wires that go on this side and just put a piece of tape around them. Just for temporary, just so I know. Because you know, things get mixed up and there's some blue ones and green. They're all pretty much different, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So, alright, my biggest fear is that I'm not getting them in the right places later, so I'm going to take some more pictures just to be sure. Take some pictures from the sides, kind of get them in order. Alright, now let's pull the rest of them out. Gotta get on the backs of these so I can pull them out separately rather than trying to do the mass. One more is still stuck in there. So there's what's left of my broken one, but you see how that, I mean, a little quicker, a little easier, and it saved the integrity of all of these pins a lot better than if I had tried to muscle them out. Now hopefully I can slide them all back in the other one. I'm going to clean them up first, make sure I don't, like this one I got some burnt plastic in it, so I'm going to clean them all up first before I do that. Okay, so this one here, I got some melted plastic in it, so I'm just going to spread this a little bit. If I can get this out. There, we got it out, like pulling a tooth. Not that I've ever pulled a tooth, but I have had them pulled. Now let's cinch that back down. Good as new. I'm also going to go and just make sure all of these little tabs are pulled out a little bit. I'm going to go through and just give them a little crimp, not a lot, in case they got kind of bent in when I pull them out. I'm going to go through all of those and then I'll put them back in. Alright, so now they're ready to go back in. Let's see how this goes now. So now I've got my photos, I'm going to work from them and hopefully get this back together how it was. First thing I do is make sure which way I go here. There's a hole on this end, and if you see in my picture there's a hole right there, so this end up. Good way to start, because if you assemble it all upside down it's going to be a lot of work to get it back together, so we'll try this way first. So, and this was the side I believe that I didn't tape. Let's get the tape side out of the way first. And remember, this side had almost all of them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all but one hole. Oh, there's a brown one there too. So that's probably number 10. So let's start with the outside ones. I can see my double blue goes first. Oh, camera decided to go off. So double blue is first, and this part goes to the outside. Okay, remember when we started? If you look at an original one over here, all the pins, the back side of the pins go to the outside of the housing. So I want to take my double blue, hold it exactly how it is in the photo. That's my first one. This is probably going to get kind of tight. Double blue goes right there. And should snap right in place there, and it's secure. Now we've got a black one. Of course, just for fun, I just noticed I have 2 black ones. So that might be a 3 black ones. Oh, one has a stripe though. So hopefully I have pictures of that. Let's see how I can identify these. Let's go back to my pictures to make sure. So note to self, more than one. So the black and white one goes there. The other one had a little dirt on it. So let's see which one that is. Black and white. I probably cleaned it off when I pulled on it. So now I'm going to look at the clip just to make sure. Okay, that one has a little bit of a white residue on it. Right there. This one doesn't. So that's something to identify it with. I don't want to be guessing too much. That could be a problem later, so make sure you mark your black wires. I just realized I had 2 black ones. This one is shorter. I don't think that matters. Let's check another picture. That confirms the dent that's in this one is in that same one, so that one I'm assuming goes there. Okay. Now the brown one. It's kind of a random one. Okay, let's go back over to this side now. So I got my double blue, my black with the stripe. So here's my black one. So I have my double blue, my black, and my black with the stripe one goes down here according to my photos on my phone. Push that in. It snaps and see it locks in. There you can see it on the other side. Kind of right in place. Get nice and level. Now we have the double green. I'm trying to make sure I don't get any wires tangled in here funky somehow. So double green. Now the purple. I might have got damage taking it out a little, so it needs a little help. There we go. Let's pull it this way a little. There, locked right in. Alright, so now we got the black with the white stripe. In case you don't see, this is what I'm looking at on my phone. I've got the wirings in there. Try not to push them in too hard, and then if they don't want to go, I'll just pull them through. And they pop in place, so those are nice and snug. Now let's look at the other side of it. There's my taped ones out of the way, and I have 1, 2, 3. Where's the rest of them? 4. So I have 4 more to go on this side. So now let's get to my other photo. So now I do the brown one. The brown one's not part of the harness. It's kind of like an add-in somehow. So I'll just kind of bring that with these. So it knows where to go. I'll run it through there. Black, brown, brown with a white stripe, double blue, and then the red one. So I'm just going to make sure all these are up tight. Stamped in place. Those all look pretty good now. Alright, now let's go to the other side, the side that I taped. So I can take this off now. So this one we have, there's my broken off tab. So I'm looking at the photos now, what I took. I've got the orange one on the top left, or top right here. And my yellow, I got 3 more. Now my green one goes here, green and then purple. Purple. So that one slid right back out, so I'm going to spread the tabs just a little bit more. Not sure why the housing might have got damaged when I pulled that other one out. It's hard to say. There, it locked in. Then it skipped one, and then here's my pink one. And there we go. Now we have a restored, all original housing for my fuse panel. We'll put that back together. Hopefully it doesn't break again. Make sure all these wires are kind of smashed down. Thing is, make sure you slide that on right or you'll just break them again. You know, a friend of mine called me and he said every time he slammed his door the car went off. They couldn't figure it out, and they finally realized that both sides were cracked, and when you slammed the door the whole car kind of shorted out. And that's what they found. So there, now mine's all restored and good as new. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you get your restoration together and keep it original.